Hello and welcome. This is Marisol, and in today's video I'll be sharing my January pages for Project Life 2018. For 2018 I am using the same sized album as I did last year, which is 6 by 12. At one point I did consider switching to a 9 by 12 album, but then I realized that I really like this size and that I have easy access to the album. I have plenty of the plastic page protectors to get me through the whole year, and so that helped me decide to keep the album size. What I did change was my subscription. I am no longer subscribing to Studio Calico, and I'm now subscribing to Ali Edwards Story Kit and Stories by the Month. Throughout January and February you will see the monthly digital kit from Ali Edwards, but now that I'm getting the Stories by the Month, I won't be using those digital kits anymore. I wanted to change things up a little bit this year, which is why I switched my subscription. I thought that switching my product would revive this project for me instead of changing the album size. I'm really comfortable with this album size, so I'm keeping it. But like I said, I switched my subscription to the Ali Edwards kit. Another thing that I changed for 2018 is that I'm no longer doing weekly spreads. I will be doing monthly spreads instead of weekly, and I did that once before and I liked it, and I'm gonna do it for this year to see how things go. I think that it just frees up one more pocket for me to add a picture or to add a story instead of reserving the one pocket every week for my title card. So let's get started. For my title page, I kept it very simple. I added a really fun photo that I love of my husband and I, and a picture of the 6 of us from April 2017. I didn't have a current picture of us, and I was completely okay with using this one, so I put that in there. These circle embellishments are from the monthly kit, and they were actually oval shaped, but because I cannot fussy cut to save my life, I used a circle die instead, and I came out with these really cute circle embellishments that are printed on photo paper. This card is from the January digital kit, and again printed on photo paper. I added a 2018 stamp and a chipboard letter and called it done. Very simple. Okay, so I did decide that for every month I will use a pocket to document the month. So for example, here it says January Stories, and I have one for February too, but that'll change because I'm no longer getting the monthly kit. This is from the monthly kit. So I'll have one pocket that will tell you the month along with the year, and I'm going to keep that consistent in the album. Another thing that I'm keeping consistent this year is this roller date stamp. This is a Heidi Swapp roller date stamp, and I'm going to zoom you in so you can see what it looks like. Right there. So the month is in script, and then you have your date, and this roller date stamp actually goes until 2021, which is really good, so it'll last me quite a long time. I don't know if I'll use it until 2021, but for 2018 I'll use it. I don't know if I will use it throughout the whole year, but for right now I'm liking the way that it looks, and I'm using it to document the dates. Because I'm not doing weekly pages, I thought it was important to document the date of the photo, and so that's why I'm using that stamp. In the upper left hand corner I have a picture of my kids playing. I added letter stickers to spell out the word play. Here you'll see the date stamp and one of the circle embellishments that are similar to my first page. And I decided that I did want to reserve one pocket per month for my title card. And so this one says January, well, it says abbreviation, January Stories. And I used this was a 4x6 card, but I used a heart die cut to cut that out and put it in that pocket along with my 2018 stamp. Down here I used a tag that I created using a Hero Arts stamp set. So you may see this throughout the year as well. For my right side, I have a picture, two pictures actually, of the same day. And I'm okay with not having a picture for every day. In fact, that's why I like this 6x12 size album, because as every year has gone by, I've taken less and less pictures for my Project Life album, and I tend to not worry about having a picture for every day. But in the past, I've looked at my weekly spreads as a week at a glance, not a photo a day. And now I'll be using the monthly format, and I'll be thinking of the month at a glance. What pictures, what stories stood out to me the most for the month, and that's what that's my approach for 2018. So as I said, I have these two pictures from the same date, which was of my son's birthday, and just used some embellishments from the digital kit. And this is an old number sign hashtag from an old chipboard letter set from Ali Edwards. This, as you can see, was a 4x6 card, and I just cut it in half to make it fit into these pockets here. Actually, before I go on, another thing that I am doing for 2018 is creating a stories album. I was very influenced by Ali Edwards. I've been spending a lot of time on her website, and the meaning behind her kits are to tell stories, right? And I like this Project Life album, but obviously find that it is constricting when it comes to telling deeper stories and stories beyond the facts and surface feelings. So I am going to create a stories album that will include a lot more journaling, a lot more of my feelings. I don't know if I will share a lot of that album with you guys, because I feel like the journaling is probably going to be very intimate, but I haven't decided yet. But I will show you that I've already started. As I was creating these pages, these spreads, and documenting, I realized that there were other stories I wanted to tell about that photo, about my feelings about that photo. And so let me share a couple of pages that I have already started. The format that I will be using is a 6x8 format. I don't have an album yet for this, but eventually I will. So for right now, I'm just keeping them on this binder clip here. Okay, so what you'll see is this is a very similar picture to the one I just showed you in my Project Life album, but I wanted to tell more of the story. And so that sparked my interest in creating a stories album. And what I did was I kept it extremely simple, because what I wanted to do was document my feelings. It wasn't about the embellishments, it wasn't about the design of a layout, it was simply about the words. And so I took a 4x6 card and covered it in vellum, and then I typed my journaling directly on the vellum and added this wood veneer sentiment which says good change. I added a a chipboard piece there, and that was it, and along with this stamp. And it came together really, really quickly, and I loved that. And I think that I'm not used to doing that. I'm not used to working so quickly, and I'm not used to writing so much. So it will take a little bit of time. I think, before I get really creative with these stories. But for right now, I'm just documenting my feelings. Here's another one that I created. One of the things that Ali Edwards kits do is that they're story sparks. They, based on the card, it kind of gets you thinking about the story behind your picture. Why did you take that picture? And so I did that for this picture here, why this picture was meaningful to me, and so I documented that story there. Now, like I said, I'm getting started, so you'll see that I don't have anything on the left side, and I don't know that I'll keep these pictures in this order either. I haven't thought about that, but again, as I was working on my Project Life album, I was coming across these pictures, and they were sparking emotions, sparking feelings for me. And so I just started writing down what I wanted to say about that photo and put it in a page protector, and I already have something started. Same thing here. Some notes, pictures, dates, and cards. And the same thing here. See? And so here I plan on telling the story. See, I already started the story, but wanted to finish what I was doing. So after I did the journaling, I went on and got finished on what I was working on. So that's another thing that I am taking on this year. Now back to Project Life. So like I said, this is just of one date, which was my son's birthday. And here's January continued. I used a lot of the For the Love kit in January, and you would think it was February because of all the hearts and all of the red, but I didn't care. I thought that the cards definitely told or helped tell my stories behind the pictures, and so I went with it. No rules, right? This here is a notepad that came in a kit by Ali Edwards that looks like this, and I absolutely love it, and you get a good amount of these. I use these a lot in December Daily and in my December Project Life, and I really like them. So I just used it as a journaling spot for this photo. And one thing that I wanted to do for the month of January to try it out was to have some repetition of embellishments to tie the spread together. These are all pictures of different days, different events, and in order to tie them together in the spread, I repeated this black circle, right? And again, I got this idea from Ali. It wasn't my original idea, but I thought it was a good one, so I thought I would try it, and I liked it. I ended up using it for this spread as well as a couple others in the month of January. I will continue to use my handwriting throughout my album along with my typewriter. I figure that, well, I have a love-hate thing with both. I don't love my handwriting, but I also love it, and I love my typewriter, but I also hate it. But I figure the more I use it, the better I'll get at it. So you'll see that I'll use my typewriter, my handwriting, as well as letter stamps to document my stories. This was a fun story of my son snowmobiling for the first time. He had someone send me that picture. We weren't there with him, but it was really cool. And I used the circle that said exciting changes because he was so excited about that, and it was something that he had never tried, but I have a feeling he'll try it again. So there's that. In this spread, you'll see that I unified all of the pictures by creating my own cards, my own journaling cards. I used this stamp set. I used this border stamp along with this box and the sentiments to create my cards. I used the same color, ink, and I also made my own labels for this month as well. I used this stamp set. I used this here along with some icons to create my own labels and that also unified the pictures as well. So here we have literacy night, my daughter and her best friend, museum of play, and my daughter at a birthday party, and my son and husband reading a book. This is the last page for January, and I was okay with not starting February on the left side. So again, I'm keeping it simple, making things work for me so that I can get the project done and not get hung up on details like that. This here is all of the same story basically, and I unified the pictures with color. There's lots of blue in every one of the pictures, and that's how I unified those. This is a digital card that I printed on photo paper. I did try printing on cardstock, but the colors were kind of washed out to me, so I printed them on photo paper, and I loved the way that it looked. Here's one of those circle embellishments that I created. And just a proud mama moment, my son made Dean's List, so I included the email that was sent to him regarding making the Dean's List. And that was it. That was January. So for January I had I had four spreads. And I guess you could say that if I did week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, I would have turned out to be the same amount of page protectors, but I liked that I wasn't constricted to having certain photos in a certain week. I liked that if it didn't work with the photos that I had, or if it didn't work with the page protector style, that I could just put it to the side and document it later on in the month. Not keeping it chronological in that way, I guess is what you could say. And I'm up to date with February, and I wanted to show you that I just used a 6x8 page protector to document the start of February, and I really liked this this card, and there was one for January, and there'll be one for every month, but I'm not going to order that because my budget can't afford it to have the stories by the month, the story kit, and the monthly digital kit. I only got the monthly digital kit for January and February because I was on the wait list for stories by the month. Anyway, so like I said, I'm already caught up with February, and I will share those pages with you in a different video. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them down below. I appreciate the time that you spent with me today. I realize that time is very precious for all of us, and I appreciate that you spent some of your time here with me today. And until my next video, take care. Bye-bye.